Setting up PBR textured materials in Karma is super easy, but very repetitive work if your scene has half a dozen materials, which is actually very common in any project. You'll have to do the same setup, loading all the PBR images into each Karma material setup again and again and again. This was a clear need of a more procedural method, and I was set on a mission to create a HDA to automate this material setup process, automating as much as I could. Provide my HDA with the folder location of where the textures are stored on your hard drive, and the dropdown will automatically be populated with the respective texture names. Now provide the HDA with the primitive groups that you want assigned to whatever texture material. Then drop down a LOPNet, press the generate button, and you're ready to go. Most of my textures are created in Substance Painter, and I use this format of storing the textures. Each set of textured images are living in their own folder. The folder names are what populates the drop-down box in my HDA. Here's a rundown on a more detailed guide on how to use my HDA in a step-by-step demonstration. And in the later part of the video, I'll also show you how to reuse my HDA for objects with common material names, reducing the setup process even more. HDA demonstration. Karma material generator in action. Now I'm gonna drop down my HDA, create material for Karma. Color this red, just because I like to color my HDA nodes red, and the black nodes I like to make as visual only for visual purposes. Now, the first thing you want to do once you get into this HDA is tell me where the textures are on your hard drive. For this scene over here, I have all the textures here, and it's important to note that each material slot has its own little folder. This is what my HDA needs, and it's pulling all the folder names in order to populate the dropdown. So let me just show it to you. So I'm telling it this is where all the textures are stored on my hard drive. Press accept. Now this dropdown will be populated with all those folder names. I need this file format in order to recognize this folder is storing all the pillars, material, textures. So if we look into the pillars, there's the base, like there's your channels. The PBR channel images are in there. The base, the height, the metallic, the normal, the roughness, it's all in there. So I'm going to set this up. Pillars. This is the group, the primitive group that is in your geometry. So I selected primitives over here. So I'm going to look into the primitives, and we'll see that the pillars, a better way to see this is I'm just going to highlight it here. Pillars. So these are the pillars. These are the groups. And I'm going to blast this out, and then you can see that the material path are all pillars. So this is the actual attributes attached to your geometry that you want to assign the materials, the PBR materials for. And that's what my HDA needs to know, which primitives or polygons of the geometry to assign the material to. As for this material name, this can be anything you want. I'm just gonna set up the rest of the textures. You can see here that it's pretty quick to find the polygon group, then find the matching PBR material textures from the dropdown, give it a material name of your choosing. I tend to use the same name as the primitive group that I've made just to make things easier. All this is a lot easier and quicker to do than recreating the entire Karma material groups and importing each PBR texture image one at a time for each material set. And in this case, I have half a dozen. I find this to be a huge time saver. Okay, after all that's done, I'm going to drop down a LOP network. Now, select the HDA, drag the LOPNet all the way to the LOPNet parameter, just so that my HDA knows where to create the textures. This height over here is a little strong, so I'm going to make this a little smaller, 0.01. Hit create. Okay, let's take a look. It'll bring you into the material library right away. And here, just press L, because it'll be all bunched up together. It's not going to be nice and neat. With your mouse hovering this network over here, press L and Houdini will organize it in a grid-like format. And you can see if we go inside, okay, all these are bunched up together again. Press L and it'll be nice and neat. You can see that this is all set up. I'm gonna go back up. And the LOPNet, once again, press L. So you have this nice and neat. And the textures are all set up. So I'm going to go back up again into the SOP level. Reusing the HDA. optimizing workflow. Now, sometimes you may have geometry that have the same material name and group names. For example, if I created 2 outfits, they all have jackets, they have shirts, and they have pants, and the material names are the same for both outfits. Now I'll show you this first one first. Here we have jacket 2. So this one has an extra sleeves or collar on the sleeve. And there is a jacket. Let me just change this over. There's a jacket. And this is actually the material slot that I'm going to assign a carbon material to. And I have a separate PBR texture image set for that. And this is the pants. And we have a shirt. So this is the same material naming or group naming system as I have for the second outfit. Now this is the shirt. Now this is the second outfit. This is pants and this is the jacket. So this one doesn't have that collar. So it doesn't have a jacket too. It only has one jacket material group. Well, it's not a material group yet. It's a primitive group right now. Okay. Now let's go back to the first outfit and I drop down my HDA. Now I already filled this out because I already demonstrated how to fill this out, so I don't want to repeat that. I already filled this out, and what I'm going to do is just drop down a LOP net. Select my HDA, drag the LOP net to the second one. Oh, it's already there. Okay, now I'm going to create it. Okay. Now press L to organize it nicely, and let's take a look at the rendering. Okay, there it is. Now let's go back to here, and I'm going to take this exact same HDA, and I'm going to move it over to the second outfit. And we're going to reuse this HDA because I don't want to set up all these parameters all over again. And there is one thing we do have to update is the textures folders, because I'm going to be applying a different set of textures to the second outfit. I'm going to take this and I'm going to, well, this is the second set of different textures that I made for the second outfit. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to take a look at this to see if everything's all right. It looks okay so far. We need to update the drop-down selections because once you pick a new texture folder location, it repopulates and updates this drop-down. And sometimes it may change the previous selections. The drop-down list may be repopulated in a different order from before. So the first one here, we have shirt and we have shirt. So let's just go shirt. Second one, pants, pants, pants. So this one was okay. Third one, jacket 2, jacket 2. Well, we don't even have a jacket 2. We can just close this and erase it. The third one, jacket, jacket, and jacket. Okay. Let's drop down a LOP net. Select this, and I'm going to... Oh, it's already LOP net 3. Okay. So now I can create the material. Press L to organize it. Don't forget that. And let's take a look. The second outfit. Okay, that looks nice. I found this one to be the most useful workflows for my HDA just because I deal with a lot of geometry that share common material and group names, as I try to keep things simple in the same format and structure every time I'm working on something. And also when I'm importing geometry from an external source, like buying 3D models online from other platforms like my favorite one, Reallusion Libraries, I find they usually stick with an established structure, like character models from Character Creator from Reallusion have an organized naming format. This means it's easy just because you only have to set it up once with my HDA and update the drop-down selections. I know the part where you have to update the drop-down selections when I'm trying to reuse my HDA for the second outfit is kind of a bummer, but I'm trying to improve on this, and maybe in the future when the texture folder updates, I can program it into the HDA to remember the previous selections in the drop-down and try to keep that alive. But that will have to be in the next future release, possibly version 6. Installing the HDA for first-time users. Now, in order to install the HDA, I'm gonna come over here on the assets. Then you're gonna go here and install asset library. You have to find the HDA file. So it's right here. So choose that, accept, it loads it in. Now, there are different ways of installing the HDA. You can install it directly into Houdini and you never have to worry about it again. Like, it'll always live in all of your Houdini instances. I like to install it just on this session, just on this HIP file. So whenever I open this HIP project file, my HDA will be available. If you do just want it like in Houdini, you want to install it once and never worry about it again, choose scanned asset library directories. That will put it directly into your Houdini installation. Now I'm going to choose this HIP file only, just because I only want it here. Then I'm just going to hit install. So before I hit install, I wanted to show you, when I go inside a geometry context, if I type in create, my HDA does not come up. So now we're going to install it. I'm going to do the same thing again. There it is. Create material for Karma. So that's my HDA. That's how you install it. Requirements and future improvements. I thought it's worth clarifying just one more time that my HDA does require this specific file structure that the PBR texture images be stored. Each folder here contains the PBR texture set for each material type. For example, you have a carpet material for the floor and a wood material for the coffee table in your scene. Those would be in separate folders, a carpet folder and maybe a wood folder. After you provide the location of where the textures are stored on your disk, the dropdown will automatically be populated by these folder names, which should be material names if you follow this file structure. I do admit this part could use a bit more love, and I'm still working on more ways to improve this HDA and make it more user-friendly in the future. This is the 5th version of my HDA, and I've since knocked out a lot of bugs along the way, but there can always be another version to improve and update. Thanks for watching and sticking to the end.